Hi guys, so I'm just going to do another list of enemies from games. I'm just reading from IGN on this game. This is Turok Evolution, which kind of has a lot of mixed reviews, but I actually pretty liked this game. I didn't quite get to the end. It's a very long game and it's actually very difficult as well. Towards the end, the enemies become so tough that your health goes down very quickly. Anyway, let's just read. Enemies are extremely tough. They take cover constantly and attack in groups. They also climb ladders, but they're naked when they do, so blow them up. Also, the lower level Sled Worker, Soldier, Scout will sometimes throw their weapons down. When you see this, the computer counts them as harmless, and so should you. Yeah, so it's quite cool, like small details in this game, just as the Turok series had on the N64 with weapons like the cerebral bore. Also, how you can shoot enemies with poison arrows, and they will be slowly poisoned to death, where they will drop their weapon and throw up some green goo. All this sort of stuff is pretty neat, and it just shows a great attention to detail, as I say. And generally the details of each Slug Soldier in different ranks, different types, and it all adds up to a very enjoyable gameplay. Now, one of the things about Turok series is that the Slegs are characteristically tough, including the dinosaurs are like these gigantic frames, big, strong. You have to shoot them a lot to kill them. Later in the game, even a rocket launcher and a chain, you can get a weapon that doubles as a chain gun. These are like the weapons of choice for later on, because it's one of the things, a bit like with the selling point with Quake 2. I remember back when that was released years ago, I remember reading that it's supposed to be like an FPS, but a hard one with lots of really solid foes, and I think Turok is definitely similar in that respect. So, just to read a little about the Sleg. The Sleg are a race of reptilian warriors that live in the Lost Land. They serve as the main antagonistic force during the events of Turok Evolution, and are led by Lord Tyrannus. Lord Tyrannus. The Slegs are a species of reptilian creatures roughly the size and shape of a man, with some extra features. All Slegs have scaly skin and most retain a short, seemingly useless tail. There appear to be 3 species or types of Sleg: a smaller, thinner version that serve as scouts and snipers. So this is very distinct. If you haven't played the game, you wouldn't know, but these scout sniper small ones, they take less to kill, and they're peppered throughout the earlier parts of the game. As you move through the game, the bigger Slegs are a bit more of a nightmare to dispatch. I mean, if it's just 1 or 2, no big deal, but they come at you in droves, and they take a lot to put down. More muscular versions that act as soldiers and huge Slegs that operate large weapons such as miniguns and rocket launchers. Yeah, later on in the game you see a lot of these really big Slegs, and the rocket launchers in Turok Evolution are very powerful. They have a large blast radius, and they just have a way of sneaking up on you. So let's move into the Slegs, and then we'll do the dinosaur enemies. So first, the Slegs.
It's against us. No one can defeat Tyrannus.
The Slag Scout, one of the main enemy units encountered in Turok Evolution. These Sleg units are the standard type. They have the most rudimentary armor, which covers most of their bodies, minus their heads and hands. Their bodies are slender and somewhat frail compared to other Sleg troops, and even Tulset himself. They are the smallest of the Sleg. They hold a type of rifle which is unobtainable by the player. It should be noted that this weapon is frequently held by NPCs throughout the game, and it features a long barrel alongside a muzzle brake. So these are weak enemies that appear early on in the game. The first Sleg to appear, and yeah, they're fairly easily dispatched. A little bit more dangerous in groups. So a Sled Worker. The Sled Workers are one of the most important assets of the Sleg army. These units are useful for collecting data and are commonly used as improvised infantry. These Sleg, compared to others, they have the body type of the Slag Scout, but they have a row of spines akin to Lord Tyrannus. Their skin is a light brown and they have a small frame compared to most of the Slegs. In gameplay, these Sleg troops are rarely seen, as they are usually fixing things off to the side. Their first appearance is in Chapter 4, where they maintain the searchlights of the Sleg fortress. Their second, more prominent appearance is during Chapter 9, where they are tending to the sewer system, tampering with certain areas. The snipers that are very distinct red clothing and okay, so appearance. These Slegs bear an uncanny resemblance to Slag Scouts. They are small, slender and frail. However, they hold a few key differences. They have maroon coloured skin, their outfit and attire is different, and they also have optical goggles on their heads. Lastly, they wield modified rifles, much like Scouts and some Sled Soldiers, but the damage output is amplified to match the sniper designation. So the Sleg snipers come in two variants, the basic and the advanced. The advanced ones are stronger and have more feathers behind their heads. These Sleg units are somewhat rare in comparison to normal Slag Scout and Soldier units. They are initially encountered in the level Mountain Ascent, where they appear shortly after Talset enters through the doorway to the mountain range. They have pinpoint accuracy and they are also hard targets to hit, usually being situated far from the thrills of combat as a sniper should be. They are, however, weak and be killed by multiple means. Okay, so the Slag Sergeant. These Slegs have a unique appearance. They are taller than Sled Soldiers, yet shorter than variants, like the Sled Rapiers. They have brownish reddish skin, and they have bright red body armor, possibly signifying their role as the pyromaniac of the Sleg army. They have material on their legs that is presumably made of cloth, which offers little protection to the sergeant. On their back is a gas tank meant for use with the sergeant's flamethrower. Lastly, the sergeant has a massive pair of knee guards. And the one cool thing is that if you shoot their the flame bag that they carry on their back, that will basically blow them to bits. So, Sleg Soldier. Appearance. Sleg Soldiers are a staple of the Sleg army. These Slegs are larger and bulkier than the Scout variant. They possess green scales and wear armor that covers a massive amount of their bodies. It can either be silver or an orange gold, depending on the variant. They also wear a backpack which seems to contain pistol bullets and shotgun shells that they reload. Very similar to the Scout, except they're bigger and stronger, take more to put down, and if there's honestly, they're not that effective, like just a little bit of a step up from the Scout, you're going to have to use more ammo to get rid of them. But when there's a group of them, because they're big and bulky, they can back you into corners quite easily, and that's when, you know, danger is apparent. So moving up in the food chain, we have the Sled Captains. Unique type of Sleg that make their first appearance in Chapter 5. These Sleg bear a massively different appearance from other Slegs. and are much more formidable in appearance. Their armor is silver, covers their entire body, and is bulky, making the already muscular Sleg even bulkier in appearance. The facial features of the Sled Captain are also more animalistic, bearing large vestigial horn on their face. Their skin is beige in coloration. In the campaign, they wield automatic tech weapons that can deal significant damage if a player remains out in the open. They can also take significant amounts of punishment, though they are still quite vulnerable to various instant kill methods, such as poisoned arrowheads or the swarm boar. So the Slag Raptor Handler. Raptor Handler's heads bear a strong resemblance to a cobra's. They have cobra-like frills that run down their necks. They are tanned orange-brown in coloration and are slightly taller than the ever-common Slag Scouts. They also have more health, so are slightly harder to kill, although they are still relatively weak. Raptor Handlers wield the same type of rifle as the Scouts. One of the rarest type of Slegs. There's actually a part where you enter a Raptor Handler base, and amusingly you can actually release all the raptors from the cages and watch as they get their own back on their Slag Handlers. Alternatively, you can sneak up round behind them and surprise them. Raptor Handlers also sometimes have grenades, which can be very lethal if you don't see one coming. Okay, so moving on, Slag Monk. Monks are tall Slag enemies. They wear a seemingly tribal-like robe that has a special covering over the faces. Only their piercing yellow eyes are visible. They wear no shoes. They carry numerous types of melee weaponry. The monks are also very skilled at teleportation, and they can utilize this in their attacks, oftentimes appearing behind the player. Also, monks cannot teleport into water, so the player can just stand in the water as a defense. Monks will often appear in ambush and surprise the player. They usually do this after or during a triggered event, such as opening a bone gate. The monks use their melee weapons to slice Talsat to very damaging effect. The spellcasters will teleport to a distance and cast very painful spells. The shotgun is very effective against them as they come very close to the player. This Slag has a very intimidating appearance compared to other Slag. It is tall, has a matte black skin colour, and its skull shape gives it more threatening appearance. Its body is host to numerous spikes of bone, and the creature wears a massive shoulder pauldron. So the Slag Rapier's frontal skin colour is a bright yellow, and its eyes hold a soulless black and white coloration. This variant also has a parachute on its back, meant for paradropping in during the suspended city missions in chapters 8 to 10. They wield the tech weapon. The minigun variety appear to be much larger than the average rapier. Their skin is grey instead of yellow, and additionally they wear orange armour on their chests. They also wield miniguns instead of tech weapons. Now, if these guys have good ground, like in a pillbox or a raised area, they can be very, very lethal, especially with the minigun. But they don't appear that much through the game, but when they do, they also have pretty darn good health as well, so again, you've got to hit them with, rail guns, rocket launchers, anything powerful. So that's the Rapier. Okay, so next, Sled Guards. These are the biggest type of Slegs that are much taller and larger than their boss, Lord Tyrannus. They sport massive hulking armor that is set upon a massive and muscular body frame. These Slegs have immense muscles, being able to heft miniguns and rocket launchers without hampering their mobility. Their armor can come in black and red, blue, silver and black, and a gold-orange color with black, depending on the variant. So they can wield things such as shotguns, miniguns and rocket launchers. They're very accurate in this game. When they shoot those rocket launchers at you, even though you might not take the full brunt of the blast radius is big and it basically kills. They're not too often, not too common. They're usually like the sort of cherry on the cake of any well-defended part of the Sleg Fortress, but basically take a lot of firepower to kill them.